Hey y'all, it's the Deacon. This is the Deacon Speaks Barbecue. You may know me from a podcast that I have with the Doc, called Doc and the Deacon, where we talk faith, science, and ice cold beers. Here, the Deacon is going to talk barbecue. So growing up in southeastern Virginia, I learned a lot about Carolina-style barbecue, and that's what I really have a passion for. And recently made a new purchase and said, you know what, I'm going to go through my journey with you, talk about barbecue, make some mistakes, make some good food, and have some fun. So this is the Deacon Speaks Barbecue. I've had all kinds of smokers, and when I was looking for the next one, I knew I had to keep it within a budget because I am married, and I knew I wanted great smoke flavor, but I didn't want to spend all day tending a fire. Like, I want to be able to leave for a couple hours and then come back and still have a relatively normalized temperature and then be able to manage that. So I don't necessarily love the smoke flavor that I get just from pellets. So I went with this cabinet smoker from Old Country Barbecue Pits. It is a gravity vertical feed smoker. So it's got a charcoal chute that we're gonna fill up with charcoal. We load it up and then that feeds down. We'll put some smoke in the smoke box. So if you look over here, I got this great smoke box, great heavy duty handles. Look at that bad boy. Or as we say in Philly, look at that, John. You open that up, that's where the wood goes. I put this close to the house. You're like, Deacon, why would you put that thing so close to your house? The reason is because this is so well insulated that even though there might be a rip-roaring fire going on in here, and even in this big, another heavy duty handle, John over here to open up this bad boy, because it's an insulated box, I feel confident that the outside is still going to be just like warm to the touch. So I don't think I have an issue putting this too close to the house. Although you can see over there, I did have an issue at one time or another. But I think this one's going to be fine. I'm going to take you on a tour of this bad boy. We're going to season it up and get it ready to use because 4th of July is coming up. And I have got to make some Cuban sliders for the 4th of July. I'll talk about that in a little bit too. All right, so this is the Deacon Speaks. This is our introductory video. Welcome to this journey. Holla. Welcome back to the Deacon Speaks Barbecue. This is, we're gonna talk about the Old Country Barbecue Pits smoker today and kind of go through what it has, what it's made of, and what are you made of, son? And what we're gonna use it for. So it's almost July 4th. I'm gonna use it for some Cuban sliders. So I'm gonna make some pulled pork. But first, we gotta get this thing ready to go. Let's go on a little tutorial. So this John is big. It's the biggest thing I've ever had. And the reason I went cabinet was because this is a gravity feed. So you can see this really heavy duty handle, boom. And look at all that great insulated stuff. So this is like a fire rated seal here, and you can see this chute goes down. Oh no! And that's where the briquettes of charcoal go, and they'll go all the way down in there, and then they'll start to burn through, and the embers will fall right down into this heavy duty firebox where I'll place some wood. You can see there's also like a place for you to put a fire starter in there. I think you're supposed to start with hot coals in here. So we're gonna try that and see how we can get this thing up to temp. But you can see again, the detail, right? That really heavy duty fire protectant seal, which is gonna keep all the heat in. You can see this heavy duty handle, John, over here. Yes, I live in Philly, so everything is a John. You can see our air regulator here. So it's really just a ball valve. So if I open this bad boy up, boom, that's going to control airflow. And airflow is the thing that's really going to help us maintain temperature. Because this is a really well insulated vessel, it's going to keep everything inside. You can see that they also, so there's that heavy duty thing to close at the top, the chute. We've got an air damper up here. This is where we're probably going to keep that open most of the time because I don't see a lot of air coming from there. But then you can see this big heavy duty handle, boom, over here. And then as we open this bad boy up, you can see all of the grates. So there's about 1,100 square inches of cooking surface in there, which I love because I believe that I can fit you know, 1, 2, 3 to 4 racks of ribs on each of those, and probably 2 racks on the bottom. So you're talking like 8 to 10 racks of ribs, which I love. Probably 3 briskets, probably, you know, 6 to 7 pork butts. So it's got a lot of room if I want to cook for a lot of people or little. But again, you can see the attention to detail in here. This really big cabinet, insulated doors, this great seal, and this really heavy duty stuff. Now, one of the things I don't love is it doesn't have a temperature gauge. Now, I don't know if this will help with any airflow or smoke. Maybe add to the temperature. So I'm going to start with some wireless stuff going inside to try to find my temperature. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to season this. So why would I season anything? Well, I think the main reason I'm going to season something is because I want to, if you see this, all of these, even though they're metal is still porous. And what I want to prevent is any rust as water comes in contact with the metal. So I want to put a protective coating on top of it. So I'm going to use like a canola oil or a grill spray. I'm going to spray it inside there on all of these. I also want to burn off there's a little bit of residue here that they put on at the factory to protect this stuff during shipping, protect, you know, everything. So I want to burn some of that off too. So I'm going to do an initial burn at about 350 degrees for a few hours and see if we can change this. You can see this nice gray color now. We're going to try to change this color to like a caramel, and that way we'll know that it's been protected and that it's ready to go. All right, I'll see you in a bit. So we're back. We're getting ready to start this grill thing, and you can see there's my assistant. Reese Cup, can you say hi? Reese. She listens as well as the children. So we're going to start a little burn here to get ready for using the Old Country barbecue pit. I said we're going to do, we're going to season it. We're going to get it ready to go. So we're going to use a heavy duty grill spray. I'll walk you through that in just a few minutes. Okay, we back. What'd we say? We said we're going to season the inside here. So one of the main reasons to prevent corrosion, rust, anything like that. One of the other reasons is to create non-stick surfaces so that everything will kind of become repellent to whatever. So when you add heat to an oil, you get like caramelization or polymerization. There's a dude on YouTube, Mad Scientist Barbecue. He talks a lot about that kind of stuff. And it's really important because we want to create a great surface in here. So if I didn't do this and it starts to rust, or all of those smokes can create like a creosote and something like that in there. And that doesn't create great barbecue flavor. And what we want is great barbecue flavor. That's why we went with this bad boy. So I'm just going to take this thing. I don't have the setup here that some of these guys do and a lot of room. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray it right in here. I spray the front with my grill spray. And I'm going to flip it over and spray the back. I've sprayed the other 2 racks. I've sprayed and coated the inside. It's just like your spray paint, right? Like you're like, uh-oh, better get Mako. We're just spray painting our car here. So I've got a really good coating. I'm going to slide this rack back in. You can see that the racks slide in and out, which is great. Make sure you have temperature safe gloves when you're doing that so you don't burn yourself, which I have done many times. And although I think I can't feel fire anymore, my hands still can just a little bit. But it's really cool because that'll slide out. Then I can check my meat. I can see how done it is and put it right back in. Gives me really great access to be able to pull things out. I wish it had a temperature gauge on the front. And even if it does, one of the things you see here, that's Reese telling us she wants to come over. But you need a long stem temperature gauge if you're going to get one that goes in here. I bought one I'm going to put on the outside and drop them in and use it that way. I think we're going to try it. But if you get a temperature gauge for here, make sure you get one that's a long stem. So it'll reach the grates so you can get a true temperature of what's happening inside. All right, Deacon out. We'll be back. Holla. All right, Deacon's back, ready to test this bad boy with fire. Right, just like the good book says, he will test your hearts. We're going to test this thing with fire. We're going to, as we sprayed, right, season the grill. We're going to get some caramelization, some polymerization in there. So I'm going to take these hot coals. I'm going to start with hot coals here. We're going to dump them down the chute. And then we're going to top it with about a half a bag of charcoal briquettes. We're going to use briquettes because what I've read is that lump charcoal can get stuck in there because it's not always the same shape. So the briquettes, although a lot of times people say, oh, just find you good natural hardwood briquettes. I'm just going to use old-fashioned Kingsford today, right? And then at the bottom, if I was smoking, I would put some wood in there. But right now, we're just trying to get this thing up to about 350 degrees, get it rip-roaring hot on the inside, and see if we can get that seasoning done. All right, so we're going to take a bag of this old-fashioned Kingsford. We got about half a chute in there. We're going to open up this bad boy and let the fire burn and see if we can get this bad boy seasoned up. Thanks for checking out the Deacon. I'll be back with more videos on our old country barbecue pit. So the Deacon is back speaking barbecue and we're finished up. So look, I even went to the pool for a minute, came back. This thing's been cooking for a few hours and look at this. Boom, look at that caramelization. Look at all of that nice caramel color inside there. I think we have seasoned this thing really, really well. So we're gonna let it finish running out. I'm gonna let it run out the chute. Because one of the things I've heard is that if you start with fresh charcoal every time, it gets nice and hot. And sometimes that residual charcoal that's left in the chute doesn't always get up to temp really quickly. So we're gonna let this thing just finish cooking, finish doing its thing. But I wanted to show you how beautiful the color was and what a good job I think we did seasoning this thing. I got a new thermometer that came in to play with today. So we're looking forward to that on July 4th to do pulled pork Cubans. Holla, Deacon Speaks Barbecue out.